Good morning. Welcome to First Church Unitarian here in Littleton, Massachusetts. My name is Lara Hoke, pronouns she, her, and I'm so happy and lucky to be the minister serving this incredible congregation. We are so glad. We're so glad that you're with us this morning, whether you're here in this beautiful, newly decorated sanctuary, thank you to our decorating crew, or whether you are with us online. We have a better time when you're with us, so thank you for being here, just as you are. I want you to know that we welcome the sound of babies and children. It's great that they make some sounds because that means they're here, and we all make sounds, and we're happy that we're here. If you need some pastoral care during the holidays, sometimes people need a little pastoral care. You can always come to me if you wish, but you can also go to one of our lay pastoral ministers. Today's lay pastoral minister is Linda Kahlil, and our other lay pastoral ministers are David Butts, Ann Donald, Jan Dustin, and Patty Sardella. And note that on Tuesday, December 17th at 7 p.m. here in the sanctuary, we'll have a low-key Blue Christmas service too. All right. With that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Lori for Community Matters.
Good morning. My name is Lori Locascio. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the honor and privilege of serving on the standing committee here. There's a lot of really good information in Community Matters. I want to draw your attention to 3 events that are happening in the church today, quickly. First, in the vestry, after service, is going to be a Women's Alliance sale of jams, ornaments, stocking stuffers, and treasures. I always find something wonderful. Second, in the Women's Alliance room down the hall, there'll be an opportunity to talk about Unitarian Universalism in general and about this church in particular. Ask any questions and come have a chat about Unitarian Universalism. The last thing I'm not sure is in Community Matters, but there's brochures, papers in the back with information. In this beautiful sanctuary, the Holiness singers will be performing today at 4 p.m., and the title of the concert is Season of Light. So after the service, please proceed down this, through this door, down the stairs. Be careful of who's around you, please. And you'll find coffee, treasures, conversation. And please check your phones and watches and make sure they are silenced. It's a joyful day to be together. Welcome to church.
Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. And the selfsame well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you're joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. The words of Kahlil Gibran. Let us worship. I'd like to invite Isabel up to light our chalice this morning. And as Isabel lights our chalice, please join me in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Thank you. Today is the Christian season of Advent. This is the second Sunday in Advent. The first Sunday was we lit the candle of hope, as our tradition here to light our Advent wreath during Advent. And today, the second candle is the candle of peace. Now, since I'm talking about joy today, if I'd had my act together, it would have been next Sunday. But our own Reverend Jackie Clement will be preaching next Sunday, and I'm sure she will bring the joy. So our second candle is for peace, and I'm going to ask Jim to light our first two Advent candles. And the words I'm sharing are the words spoken to Jesus from the gospel, spoken by Jesus in the Gospel of John. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives, do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Thank you. Please join me in singing our opening hymn. It's number 29 in the gray hymnal. Lyrics are also on the screens. It's Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. And I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
This book is called The Little Book of Joy, and it's written by two very inspirational people, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. There's a little letter in the front, and I'm just going to read you one of the sentences. We wrote this book to help you remember that even when you're having a hard time, joy is never far away. And it's illustrated by Rafael Lopez. I think the illustrations are beautiful. One of us grew up in a little house. Can you hear me? Sorry. One of us grew up in a little house. One of us grew up in a big house. Our houses were on the opposite sides of the world. Often we were sad and lonely. Both of us wished for a friend. Sometimes the other kids wouldn't let us play, or they were very far away. We wondered if we would always be sad and lonely. But when we sat still and breathed in the quiet, we noticed something beautiful. If you just focus on the thing that's making you sad, then the sadness is all you see. But if you look around, you will see that joy is everywhere. Joy is the warm, tingly feeling of the sun tickling your toes in the morning. It's the giggly, squiggly feeling when you're doing something silly. And it's the soft, snuggly feeling of being all wrapped up, cozy in your bed at night. Even when you're caught in the rain and your joy is washed away, it's waiting at the bottom of a puddle. Even if you slam the door and your joy can't get in, it's just on the other side, waiting for a loving hug. And even if there's a loud noise in the night and your joy gets scared away, it comes streaming right back with the light of the silvery moon. Joy is bubbly. It's a bubbly, bouncy feeling of finding a good friend. And once you let joy in, like magic, your heart always has room for more. We discovered that the more joy we shared, the more joy we had. And the more joy we had, the more joy we could share. So look for joy all around you and share it. Write a letter, play it on a drum, sing it to the sky. It will travel up in the air, across the ocean. Someone will find it and share it. And as it spreads from person to person, the world will fill with joy.
Good morning. This is an opportunity for generosity, receiving of our offering. As Ellen Johnson Fay wrote, the offering is a sacrament of the free church. It is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join with us. For those in the sanctuary, please put any cash or checks into the basket as it passes around. And for virtual participants, you can go to our website, fculittle.org, and look for the yellow donate button in the upper right. There you will see details for how to donate online if you wish. You could also send a check to the church through the mail if you wish, to the attention of the Assistant Treasurer. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values. Please join with me in the words of our community response. May we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts.
Most weeks, this congregation shares a special time that we call the Candles of Caring. If you have a special joy or concern or sorrow that you would like to share with this beloved community, if you're here in the sanctuary, we ask that you line up along the side aisles and come up to the microphone when it's your turn Say your name and let us know briefly how we might direct our thoughts, prayers, or healing wishes. We'll then offer a chance to bring the microphone to you where you sit, if you prefer. And we will have a chance for those of you who are with us on Zoom to share as well. Just raise the hand in the reactions area, and we will call on you and light a candle for you, too. Are there any candles of caring this morning?
So thank you all.
Are there any others? Okay. Then I'd like Jim to light any remaining candles and let these represent all the joys, concerns, and sorrows that are with us this morning, but that remain unspoken. Thank you. Please join with me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Once again, we have come together in love and trust, sharing those cares dearest to us with this gathered beloved community. Let us hold in our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers, those joys, sorrows, and concerns spoken aloud this morning, as well as those that remain unspoken, as we share together in a time of sacred silence. Amen, and blessed be. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Among my many joyful childhood memories is the time I went to a ticky-tacky temporary amusement park set up in a shopping mall parking lot. I was walking around with my mom, seeing if there was anything fun to do. I was about 10 years old, which means my mother was about 37. I can't believe I remember her being that young. In any case, walking around, I saw an adorable stuffed animal at one of those amusement park contest booths. And I really wanted it, but I'd have to win it. There were a bunch of older boys, I think later teenagers, between maybe 17 and 19. And they were there at that booth trying to win that very same adorable stuffed animal. And they were with some similarly aged girls, maybe their girlfriends or just girls they wanted to be their girlfriends, I'm not sure. And I got the sense, even though I was 10, I caught on that the boys were kind of showing off for the girls, but for each other too. And they were the contest was to throw a baseball at a bunch of pins about the size of candle pins or duck pins for you crazy New Englanders. And the contest was, not only did you have to knock all the pins down with the baseball, but also you had to knock them completely off the table that they were on. And if you did that, you won the stuffed prize. Well, I asked my mom if I could play. After all, when I was 10, I was the only girl on my Little League baseball team, so I had a decent arm. So she bought me a ticket. I have no idea if my mom thought I had a real chance or not, because those teenage boys made it look pretty hard. They were winding up like they were professional Major League Baseball players, and they were throwing as hard and fast as they could. In fact, they lost some accuracy for throwing so hard, and some threw so hard and fast that they missed the pins completely. Some threw so hard and fast that they hit just a couple of them. Some threw so hard and fast that they hit them, but they would just spin around in place and stay on the table. Well, for some reason, I felt strangely confident, and I got in line with my ticket. And I remember the teenage girls kind of nudged the boys out of the way so I could finally take my turn. I sized it up and took aim, and I threw the ball at about half the speed I was capable of. I was more focused on accuracy than speed or looking cool. And my ball landed right in the heart of those pins, and hitting them at a slower speed meant they flew completely off the table. And I won that very same stuffed animal that those teenage boys were trying to win, and I felt joy. That's right. I won. I beat the big kids. I beat the teen boys, and I won that adorable stuffed animal. The teen girls smiled and seemed pretty pleased, actually, that I'd won too. And the teen boys kind of muttered under their breath as I walked off with the coveted prize, the only one of its kind available. Do you know who else felt joy? My mom. She felt joy for the same reasons I did, but there was another level at which she was feeling joy. You see, the adorable stuffed animal that I wanted, one that I didn't have in my huge stuffed animal collection, was a super cute stuffed beaver. Now, at 10, I didn't see anything notable or funny about it being a beaver. But after the boys walked away, my mother explained to me the significance of this. And I really couldn't see it myself at 10, and I'm a 56-year-old lesbian, and I still really can't see it, but in any case, once explained to me, it did add a new level of joy. My joy turned out to be more than just an act of resistance and showing that, yes, girls can throw. It turned out to be an act of resistance against the gross objectification of women and misogyny. Perhaps some of you have heard the concept joy as an act of resistance, but maybe for some of you that's new. In 2008, African-American poet Toy Dericotte wrote a poem that included the line, "Joy is an act of resistance." And this caught the attention and the imagination of many activists, including Black women and ultimately the LGBTQ+ community. With that concept of joy being an act of resistance, Dericotte helped people to rethink their activism, which is sometimes hard work and a bit of a grind. She helped people to see that by intentionally experiencing joy, you are, in essence, sticking it to the man, if I can say that. You're sticking it to white supremacy. You're sticking it to patriarchy. And ever since that time, if you follow activists online and elsewhere, you'll hear and witness a celebration of Black joy and queer joy, reclaiming not just the word queer, which of course was meant as a cruel insult for so long, but reclaiming the right to joy itself. It reminds me a little bit of that famous 1912 labor strike just up the road in Lawrence, Massachusetts, the so-called bread and roses strike. The workers said, "Give us bread, but give us roses too." They didn't just want to survive, they wanted to thrive. Because those in power might dole out small perks and rewards, but that's not enough. We deserve joy, and we'll find it ourselves in our own way and on our own terms. You want to infuriate an oligarch? Experience joy doing something that is free. Singing, dancing, music making, howling at the moon, general frolicking. Garden your own vegetables and herbs. If you really want to infuriate an oligarch, plant the garden beds in your front yard, decolonizing your lawn. You want to enrage a fascist? Empower yourself with self-care and naps and self-love and rest. Refuse to be afraid. Take back the night and the public square with your friends joyfully. Lift yourselves up, celebrate yourselves. This will surely enrage a fascist. Now, maybe some of you don't completely buy this. I mean, really infuriate oligarchs and enrage fascists by experiencing joy? That counts as resistance? Today, I offer to you that yes, it does. My favorite poet, the late African-American lesbian activist Audre Lorde, wrote a great deal about this. In her poem, A Litany for Survival, which is in our hymnal, she writes, "For those of us who were imprinted with fear like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk. For by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hoped to silence us." She writes, "When we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. And similarly, it is better to sing, to dance, to make merry and experience joy. The heavy-footed want to tamp us down. We can't let them. Don't let them steal your shine." Audre Lorde thought joy provided fuel for social justice work and action. She wrote, "In order to perpetuate itself, every oppression, every oppressive group must corrupt or distort those various sources of power within the culture of the oppressed that can provide energy for change." So Lorde saw joy as a source of power and nonviolent resistance, particularly for oppressed groups, but ultimately it's energy for change for anyone who wants to fight fascism, fight white supremacy, fight patriarchy. So Lorde wrote, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it's self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare." Lorde knew that joy has power to build up communities of resistance. She wrote, "The sharing of joy forms a bridge between the sharers, which can be the basis for understanding much of what is not shared between them, and lessens the threat of their difference." And I think she's right. We all know that people bond during hard times like soldiers in battles. But people can bond during joyful experiences too, particularly shared joyful experiences of creating a better, more beautiful world. Brittany Packnett, an African-American educator, activist, writer, and a former Ware lecturer at the 2018 Unitarian Universalist General Assembly, puts it this way. Packnett writes, "Neo-Nazis want to thieve my right to joy and grow fear in its place. Make no mistake about their unequivocal goal, punctuated with burning torches, racial slurs, and dead and injured bodies. Supremacists want those of us who choose love over hate, equity over supremacy, and righteousness over silence to be driven back into cowardice, anxiety, and panic. If they can make us scared, they can make us hate," she writes. "If they can make us hate, they win. I choose to be fully human in resistance to the constant invalidations of my humanity. I choose to exhibit a full range of emotions in a world that wants to make Black women two-dimensional. I choose joy because I've been told all black girls get is pain. Packnett goes on, joy is not indulgent. Joy is defiant. Joy is a break from a news cycle that will discombobulate me if I let it. Joy is a middle finger to a bigot with a torch who wants to see me cower. Joy is a moral victory against extremism and a political win, fueling us to persist and resist. So says Brittany Packnett. Queer joy is something similar to black joy and black women's joy, in the sense that it's a celebration of self in spite of persistent condemnation and even hate. It starts with simple self-acknowledgement, then self-acceptance and self-love. It's about joy in authenticity in spite of oppression. It's about joy in creating our own communities and even our own families of choice. It's about taking up our space in a world that sometimes doesn't want to see or acknowledge us. It's centering queerness in a world that wants to keep us on the margins. And who can deny the joy of a gay pride parade is contagious? That's powerful. Even rainbow pride flags and transgender pride flags are joyful to behold. So joyful that sometimes it can even disarm detractors. Joy as resistance, whoever is practicing it, is a way to lift yourself up and your people up as an act of survival and defiance to those who would just as soon crush you. Joy in the face of repression is a radical act of courage. Ingrid Fettel-Lee, author, designer, and founder of the Aesthetics of Joy community, writes, "It's a curious feature of autocratic regimes that forms of joy are often banned. Music is a common one. In China, under Mao, listening to the music of Beethoven was a crime." That's partly why I picked Beethoven for our opening hymn. Folk or traditional music is typically condemned, such as in Nazi Germany, which targeted Jewish music. But contemporary hits are just as suspect. The Soviet Union, for example, censored songs by artists as varied as AC/DC, Tina Turner, and Julio Iglesias. Dancing was similarly reviled. Lee goes on, and all the types of celebration found themselves in the crosshairs of European colonists setting out to spread Christianity and civilization around the world. Barbara Ehrenreich notes that in South Africa, among the Namakwas, it was said that someone who converted to Christianity had given up dancing. What dictators know, Lee writes, is that joy has a propulsive force and that anything that gathers and channels that energy threatens to upend the rigid control of a population. Music, dance, art, eroticism, all of these fuel an emotional response that creates momentum, one that can be hard to control. Celebratory joy creates unity on an emotional and a physical level, and a unified populace is harder to dominate, she writes. I completely agree with Lee and the others. Joy is a powerful tool, especially joy in community. It's the way that we keep our strength up. It's the way that we stay resilient and ready. It's why we've been including joyful antics as part of our liturgical celebrations here at FCU lately, perhaps you've noticed. It's intentional, and it will continue. So may this help to get us and our comrades and fellow travelers through the next 4 years. Let's disobey and advance through our joy. Every time you experience joy, especially the joy that comes with the best things in life that are free, you're fighting fascism. When you enjoy a sunset, when you take a walk or have a good talk with a friend, you're fighting fascism. When you get together and sing, you're crushing it. You're fighting the man. When you giggle with a little kid over something really silly, when you laugh at the antics of your dog or your cat, When you enjoy all of life's beautiful glimmers, you're crushing it. You're winning. How could anyone keep us down? Hallelujah. On that note, let's resist in song. I saw a meme on the internet that said, after growing up watching musicals like Cabaret and The Sound of Music, I thought rising fascism would have more show tunes. So let's do our part with one of those. Let's sing My Favorite Things. The lyrics are included as an insert, and also they'll be on the screens. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. For our closing words, I invite you to touch feet or elbows or hands or whatever works, or simply hold up your hand, raise any part of your body to feel the energy between us and those who are with us online as well. Joy is in the air, and joy will carry us through. Joy together at all times will disarm those who might want to tamp us down. Don't forget the power of your joy, especially in community. May we make joyful resistance together. Blessed be, and amen. Now, so, I heard some of you wanted to limbo rock. Yeah. How low can you go? Let's come down the middle. We're going to start it here and go down. Anyone can participate. Now, traditionally, your head should go back, if you can. Nice. Join in at any point if you dare. Well done. Oh, here comes that. Can you do it? I give it, one more. Can you do it? This one Okay, one more. Go ahead. Do it. Sit. Sit, go for it. All right. I give it. I think our joint winner is Tim, Harvey, and the kids. Good job.
And where are you? You can unmute. I'm going to make you host.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm going to mute us. You should
Hi,
be good.
anybody that wants to join Coffee Hour on Zoom, feel free to unmute yourself.
I love the silence.
And you should be host.
I always have to turn the volume way down, at the beginning when church hasn't actually started and everybody's talking at once. It's, like...
How do you control the volume? Is it under audio on that? Wow.
Well, you control the audio on your computer.
Oh, not on the Zoom.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, I turn it for